Welcome to Travel with Danny and MJ. I'm Mary Jane.
And I'm Danny. We're traveling the world with just carry-ons and a backpack each.
Taking the Metropolitan bus. They have their own dedicated lanes inside of the main streets, so there's no traffic for them. And that's the courts building, the main courts building. And that's called the Plaza de Armas. And this is the French Palace, where kind of all the lawyers come from. So we're in the Hotel Bolivar, and it's 100 years old. There's an original Model T Ford. This entryway with this amazing stained glass dome ceiling. So we're in the Plaza San Martín. We're on our walking tour, and our guide just told us that the name of the city Lima basically came from the Spaniards misunderstanding what the local Quechua, I suppose, people were saying about the city. They were talking about the river, and then sometimes it was pronounced with a C or a Q, and eventually it became an L. And so Lima is a made-up word that the Spaniards created. So this is the statue to General San Martín. On the front side there is the woman who represents Peru. She has like the native vicuña animal cornucopias around her ears, and then some native branches. And on the top is San Martín, and a symbol in the lower part of him first coming here when they created independent country. They became independent from Spain. So this side is a symbol of fraternity between Peru and Argentina. It's an Argentinian symbol of friendship above the Peruvian soldier with the hat, and a Peruvian symbol above the Argentinian soldier. This is the Phoenix building. It was a bank building, and then next to it is the Sudameris building. There are bank buildings now. One's a call center, and one is a Pizza Hut. This next one is a bank. This is the Church of Mercy de la Merced. It's really beautiful. We're going to go inside and have a look. This is inside of the Church of Mercy de la Merced. The altars. Look at that Virgin Mary, the detail of this crucifixion of these carrying the cross. Shapes of the altar, and some of the statues in the altar are very kind of like pyramids or triangles, which is a symbol of the more native cultures in Peru. So it's Christmas time, just past Christmas. This is the Nativity. All the animals. The manger. The three kings are coming. They have not arrived yet. This is Jose Olaya. He was a martyr of Peruvian independence, and we're on the Pasaje de Olaya, named after him. And then off there in the distance is the presidential palace. In the Plaza de Armas, which is the main square. This is the cathedral and the Archbishop's Palace, and the government president's residence, the town hall, and a fountain that's from the 1600s. So this is a representation of the main square here from 1680. Have the church and the bishop's palace in the middle of the Plaza Mayor in Lima. This is the main fountain. Kind of when our guide says you kind of talk about distances in Lima from that fountain, made of bronze. There was gold on it, but the gold has disappeared over the years. This is the Peruvian presidential palace. The guards in front in their bright red and blue uniforms are symbolic of the Simon Bolivar and the independence movement for Peru back in the early 1820s. We're on a food tour here in Lima. Down at Susi and Mary Jane, we just had papas rellenas, which are stuffed potatoes. Coming to our food tour, we had, I don't even know what it was called, I can't remember. It was a noodles dish with chicken. It was really tasty. Had some delicious mango and passion fruit juice. Now we're going somewhere in this craziness to the next place. So now we're going to get some ceviche, which is a very Peruvian dish of fish. And basically the fish is cooked in its own acids, so it's not really cooked over a stove or anything.
Having ceviche. It's delicious. And there are loads of people here.
Now we're in the central market of Lima. Meat's hanging. The fish. So we're visiting the Museo Larco. It's one of the main museums here in Lima. It's a beautiful old mansion turned into a museum. We're up on the terrace. There's a restaurant here which we hear is very good. We're going to try it. So these ancient cultures in Peru were able to do brain surgery. They would cut holes in skulls to relieve hematomas and things like that, and then they would, I think, seal it with metal, I believe. Everything that's not kind of on display with write-ups and everything is in storage, but they make all of their storage still, you can see it. So it's not, there's no write-ups, doesn't explain anything, but you can just see all of the historical artifacts that they found that are just in cases everywhere. Rows and rows and rows of them. Pretty cool. I say it's very rare for a museum to store things this way, to not just have them kind of behind the scenes hidden away. It just goes on and on and on. This is how you know which bathroom to use. No further comment needed. The grounds of this Museo Larco is just gorgeous. The landscaping and the lawns and everything. So this is St. Peter's Church, which is the main Jesuit church here in Lima. When the Pope visited Lima, he came here first because he's a Jesuit. This is the statue of Francisco Pizarro, who was the Spanish conquistador who conquered Peru and ended the Inca Empire. And this is a new statue here, and it's controversial because, the Spanish killed a lot of people, and they weren't really welcome. But it's a lot of influence of Spain still here in Peru. And this is a mural of different colonial things. These women have their face covered except for one eye. That wasn't a religious thing, it was more of a fashion thing at the time. This is the Lima River, flows through the city, separates the different neighborhoods. We're in the Lima district on the other side of the bridge, across from the main historic part, where the real people live and work. And other side of the river, of the bridge. They're restoring or excavating the original wall of the city. So this is the Casa de la Literatura Peruana, the literature house, but it was the train station. So
We're in the old train station that is now a library. It's got an amazing ceiling. Finally could get a picture of what the bridge looks like. We had to come to the old train station to get this angle, but there it is. Here's some more of the old city wall that has already been excavated and is preserved. We're in called the Parque de la Muralla, just outside of the historic center, which is like a big concert space for concerts like Mother's Day and Father's Day and Independence Day. There's also a zoo over here, a small zoo. The preservation or conservation of the city wall extends pretty far back here. We're in the catacombs under the Dominican Church. I'm not really supposed to take video, but we're just taking a quick one. But it's, we're under the church. And the guide is telling us the only things that really survived were the hardest bones, which were skulls and femurs. So these bones were not like this buried. They've been organized by the archaeologists. They were buried basically 3 meters deep. Next one on top, next one on top, and then let's start over. We're in Parque de Exposiciones, or Exposition Park. So we have kind of a gazebo, an enclosed gazebo. Kind of central fountain statue. Kind of an out of place, kind of Tudor style building over there. We're in the Circuito Mágico del Agua, which is a park full of fountains, and we're going to stay here till after sunset when they are illuminated and there's a light show. This is fountain number 1. The fountain where everybody goes in and gets soaking wet. They seem to be having a great time. With this one, people get to walk through the arch of the water. So there's a busy street running through this water park, this fountain park. So you need to take a tunnel to get to the other side of the sea. There's 4 more fountains over there. We're walking through the tunnel. You do get a little bit wet. I didn't think you got very wet, but you get a little bit wet. Keep it moving. So the pre-show before the full show.
Lima, ciudad de los reyes. Hoy celebramos 490 años de historia, cultura y tradición.
Traveling with Danny and MJ. We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.